Kathy and I are enjoying some very special time here at the Twin Lakes in Colorado, up in the Rocky Mountains, which is a very beautiful part of the state. I wanted to take a few moments to share with you a very significant physical healing I had this year and some of the very valuable spiritual lessons I learned with it, which I think you might find helpful to your own experience as well. Anyway, last February or so, I started experiencing a lot of paralyzing pain throughout my body. It would move around and just start to immobilize me and make it very difficult to move without a lot of pain. And over the days, it just got worse and worse and worse to the point where I couldn't lift my hands very high. I couldn't play tennis any longer. I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't even turn in bed without this horrible pain just streaking through my whole body. It was a bit of a perplexing situation for me at first because I prayed about all the obvious things that God made me healthy and keeps me healthy. I live in the body of spirit that's filled with harmony and peace, and there's nothing in that body of spirit to pain me or disturb me or distraught me. And as I went through all the different truths I could think of to pray, the paralyzing pain just got worse and worse over time. And at one point, I started to think about movement. And Mary Baker Eddy writes about movement in Science and Health, where she talks about mind is the source of all movement. And by mind, she means divine mind. And I thought about, okay, divine mind is the source of all movement. I'm not moving here well at all. And any movement I make is just filled with racking pain. What do I need to see here that I'm not seeing? So I thought through more of what this movement of mind looks like. And I recognize that this mind of God is a mind of love. And it's a mind filled with peace and harmony, love, compassion, forgiveness, goodwill, and so on. And when we are expressing these qualities, we are moving in harmony with God. We are moving as we should move as children of God. And I did a good, honest self-examination of my thought at that point to see if I was really demonstrating this kind of mind harmony movement. And I suddenly realized that perhaps I wasn't. And I thought back to when this paralyzing pain started, and I traced it exactly to the day that the Ukraine-Russian war started in February, right to the day. And I realized that I really was quite upset about that war, and in particular with a global leader who I felt was responsible for starting that war. And I just was quite angry about that inside and resentful about it. To be honest with you, I just didn't think the world needed another war. I didn't think this war was necessary at all for a lot of reasons. And as I was honest with myself, I was pretty worked up about this. And that anger had intensified over the days and weeks as that war continued to unfold and all the devastation and loss of lives that I was reading about in the news. And suddenly I put the two together. I thought, this is not natural for Evan to feel anger and resentment toward anyone, anywhere. It's just not a part of my natural individuality as a child of God. God created me to love and to live love and to express love. And feeling all this hatred and anger, no matter how justified it felt, was not right. And I thought that perhaps this anger that I was feeling and thought was paralyzing my thought and the body that it governs. And I put the two together: paralyzing hatred and anger, paralyzing pain in the physical body. It's one and the same thing, because the human body is just human consciousness. So in figuring out how to solve this, I decided I needed to practice the rule of love your enemies effectively in this case. And at first I wasn't sure how to do that. And then I thought, okay, what I need to do is strip power away from this person that I had allowed to be built up into this horrible, evil influence in the world. I needed to take all power away from that person and give all that power back to God, and see that only God has the right to influence people's thoughts and to determine the future of mankind, and that a mortal has no power, no mind power to manipulate, to deceive, to mislead, to do anything at all. And that's true love, to see a person in their true light. From God's point of view, give all power to God, not to a person. So anytime I saw this person in the news, I would just stop and I would love him. Just shower him with love. I first took all power away from him and realized in my prayers he has no power, none at all, because all power belongs to God. But he certainly is worthy of love that helps transform his thought to help him see himself in his true light too, as a child of God, and not someone who wants to go out and wreak havoc in other people's lives. And so as I practiced this sincerely, the pain in my body immediately started to dial down. As soon as I committed myself to this prayer, I immediately felt the whole condition reverse. And in short period of time, as I truly loved this person and saw God as the only power at work over mankind, all that pain and paralysis left my body, and I was free once again to move around at 100% and play tennis again without any trouble whatsoever. But I was so grateful for the lesson learned that if I would have gone to a doctor and said, hey, what are you going to do about this? I'm sure he would have given me some type of heavy pain medicine to neutralize the pain and maybe free me up to move around. But that would not have been a healing. I still would have had that issue still in my thought to deal with. But this is the neat thing about Christian Science. It gets to the real issue. It heals you from the inside out. And you end up being improved morally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. You come out of the experience a better person. And truly this healing brought me out of the experience a better person. And I'm very grateful for it.